Hello, dear listeners, and welcome back to Book Summary 5, the 5-Minute Summary channel. I'm Sammy, your host, and today we're diving into Guantánamo Diary by Mohamedou Ould Slahi. This harrowing and deeply personal account provides a first-hand look at the human cost of the war on terror, detailing the years Slahi spent imprisoned without charge at Guantánamo Bay. Originally written in 2005 while he was still detained, the book was heavily censored by the U.S. government before its initial publication in 2015. Slahi's story is one of unimaginable resilience, injustice, and the struggle to maintain hope in the face of systematic dehumanization. Let's explore this powerful memoir, so you'll feel like you've read it cover to cover. The story begins in 2001, when Mohamedou Ould Slahi, a Mauritanian citizen, is detained and interrogated in his home country at the request of the U.S. government. A former engineering student in Germany, Slahi had traveled to Afghanistan in the early 1990s, where he briefly trained with Mujahideen fighters, at a time when the U.S. was supporting them against Soviet forces. Although he severed ties with the group, his past associations led to him being swept up in the global counterterrorism crackdown following 9/11. Without any clear evidence against him, Slahi is transferred between several countries, first to Jordan, then to Afghanistan, and finally to Guantánamo Bay. He quickly realizes that he is trapped in a Kafkaesque nightmare, accused of crimes he never committed, subjected to relentless interrogations, and deprived of basic human rights. Throughout the book, Slahi documents the psychological and physical torment he endures, describing his treatment with heartbreaking clarity. He is subjected to beatings, sleep deprivation, extreme cold, sexual humiliation, and prolonged isolation, all while being pressured to confess to terrorist activities. Despite the brutality, one of the most striking aspects of Guantánamo Diary is Slahi's humanity and humor. His voice is not filled with hatred or bitterness, but with an astonishing level of compassion and introspection. He acknowledges the individual humanity of his captors, even forming unlikely friendships with some guards, while never losing sight of the deep injustice of the system that keeps him imprisoned. The book also sheds light on the failures of intelligence gathering and the flawed logic behind indefinite detention. Slahi's interrogators repeatedly try to force him to confess, despite the fact that no credible evidence ties him to terrorist activities. He describes how the U.S. government relied on torture and coercion, rather than legitimate investigations, to extract so-called intelligence from detainees. Many of his captors seem to realize that he is innocent, yet he remains imprisoned because admitting a mistake would undermine the system itself. One of the most chilling revelations in the book is how confessions were manufactured. After months of torment, Slahi, like many detainees, reaches a breaking point. He describes how, under extreme pressure, he is forced to fabricate a false confession, telling interrogators what they want to hear just to make the torture stop. His case exposes the deep flaws in post-9/11 counterterrorism policies, where innocent people were detained based on flimsy circumstantial evidence and coerced testimonies. Despite everything, Slahi's spirit remains unbroken. His ability to hold on to his dignity, sense of humor, and even moments of kindness is what makes his story so profoundly moving. He practices forgiveness, gratitude, and patience, even as he faces an uncertain fate. His writing is filled with unexpected moments of poetry, showing his deep longing for freedom and the simple joys of life that were stolen from him. Guantánamo Diary is not just a story about one man's suffering. It is an indictment of a system that allowed innocent people to be detained, tortured, and denied justice in the name of national security. It raises difficult but necessary questions. How do democratic governments justify the use of extrajudicial detention and torture? What happens when the pursuit of security erodes the principles of justice and human rights? And what does it mean to truly forgive those who have wronged you? Slahi was finally released in 2016 after 14 years of imprisonment without charge, and his book remains one of the most important first-hand accounts of the post-9/11 detention system. His story serves as a stark reminder of the moral and legal consequences of the war on terror and a testament to the resilience of the human spirit. Ultimately, Guantánamo Diary is a profoundly unsettling yet deeply inspiring book. It challenges us to confront the uncomfortable realities of state-sanctioned injustice and to reflect on the true meaning of freedom, dignity, and resilience. Thank you for tuning in to Book Summary 5, the 5-Minute Summary channel. If you found this exploration of Guantánamo Diary meaningful, please subscribe, like, and share it with your friends. Until next time, happy reading, and remember, The fight for justice is never over as long as we keep telling these stories.